Hi guys, this is Gail here again, and I'm back today with a juicy one. So I've been catching myself doing some British things, like stuff that I never thought that I would do. But yeah, I mean, I've been here for quite a while now, so it's normal that some of their culture infuses into my way of behaving. That's what I'm gonna talk to you about today. If this is the first time coming onto my channel, you're warmly welcome, and let this not be the last time you visit my channel. Just please come back, because I promise to make good content that you will find interesting and that you will enjoy. If you're returning, thank you so much. Kindly share, subscribe. All of these contents demand a lot of work, like research and stuff, to make sure you guys get the right information. So kindly subscribe and comment and share and like the video. So let's get into the video. Number one, I have found myself drinking lots of cup of teas. So when I say cup of tea, it's like you know, in Ghana, like I don't know what in other parts of like where you come from, like in other parts of the world, tea, the UK tea is, we call it Lipton back home. It's like tea bags, and tea in my country is hot chocolate. So usually people use the brand Milo for tea. That is what we call tea. But then when I got here, I remember one time I got to work and then a friend was like, "Can I make you a cup of tea?" I was like, "Yeah." And then they just went to bring this watery tea bag. I was like, "What is this? This is not tea." And then they're like, "No, this is tea. What do you mean by this is not tea?" I was like, "Oh, sorry, that's fine, thank you." But in my head, I was like, "This is definitely not tea. This is like Lipton. This is not tea." But yeah, as I've been here for a while, I have realized the distinction. And then they've got coffee. Obviously, coffee is the same over the world. So yeah, that's definitely one thing that I have caught myself doing, and I do enjoy it. Depends on how much sugar and milk. I've realized that you have to put in a lot of sugar to make it taste nice. So I'm not really a tea fan. I am a hot chocolate lady, and I think I'll be a hot chocolate lady forever. So yeah, that's about it. Number two, I've realized that normal people can smoke. You know, like I know this might sound funny to you, but like back home, when you see someone smoking, instead they had a very bad upbringing, they joined a very bad group of friends, they are under the influence of peer pressure, and that's why the person is smoking. You never find normal people, like people who are very, you know, sane and with it, you know, like smoking. You never do that. But here, I wouldn't mind if the president was even a smoker. Everybody smokes. Like I've seen some teens as young as, I mean, I would estimate that they're about 14, 13, 15 years, and I've seen them smoking electronic cigarettes. They don't have to light anything. It's like a lighter, you know, like you just press something and the fire comes. That's how the e-cigarettes are. And they have found a way to make it look so appetizing that when you get here and you're not very strong in your mind, you might want to try it. So it's definitely one thing that a culture shock to me. And you know, they advertised for people to stop smoking, but then they still allow the companies to sell these vapes and tobacco and cigarettes. It just doesn't make any sense. But I mean, well, it's a very fun pastime for them. So that was another culture shock. Number three was that every person is a potential legal issue. You know, like in some parts of the world where what you can say depends on how much money you have or who you know, like your links or your connections, so to speak. Here, every single person is protected by the law. Even the vulnerable people are most protected by the law. Everybody is sort of like on the same level. The president cannot like become pompous and like exert dominion over anybody. No, if the president does something and people don't like it, people say their mind, and what they say is actually taken into consideration. It depends on how far you are willing to go to make your voice heard. But as long as you're doing the right things, the change will be made in your favor. The law is no respecter of persons, and it's a really nice thing. Like, you don't have to know someone necessarily, you just have to know the opportunities out there and what you need to do to be like the best candidate for those opportunities. It's quite fair. People say that corruption exists in this country. Obviously, there's no perfect country. Corruption exists in every country, but it's so discreet that you will hardly notice it. Yeah, and your average British person is non-religious. Like, by my own cheeky estimate, I'm thinking about more than 50% of the people, especially the youngsters. Oh, the youngsters don't like going to church. Like, they don't like going to church. They don't do religion, you know, like they're not religious. So it's very awkward when you are, you know, talking about things of spirituality and you don't know the mindset of the people that you're speaking with. A lot of people, they will rather attribute whatever good thing to the universe, you know, like they respect the universe. Well, I mean, there is a freedom of religions. They have the right to serve the universe if they want to. I mean, I haven't seen anyone like openly do evangelism like we do in Ghana. I think we're very fortunate as a country from my own perspective. I mean, it might be different depending on your own beliefs, but I think we're very fortunate that people are allowed to share the gospel on the streets so freely. But here, if you did that, you're gonna have to need a permit of some sort, because I know people do it, especially when you go to London. There are some parts of London where people do evangelize, but they have certificates from the respective authority to be able to preach. One thing that I also realized that I mean I don't want to adopt because it's not a good thing, is a lot of British people will rather gossip behind your back than tell you up front what they think about you. You know, like if you don't like something, it depends on the situation. Sometimes confronting the person can escalate the situation and make it worse. In that case, you can decide to, you know, not do that. But in situations where I'm cool with you, you're cool with me, if I offend you, you should be able to tell it to my face, you know, rather than going behind my back. Which is, so it's just one of those things, you know, that I found very sort of annoying with dealing with these people. But some people are very nice. They're able to tell you, criticize you up front, tell you what they think you've done wrong or something. And I've realized that no matter how trendy something is, a lot of people can afford it. If you go in people's homes, having a car in the UK is not a big deal. You know, unlike in some countries where getting a car is like, you know, a very big deal. In Ghana, if someone has a washing machine in their house, you see them as a rich person. Like, you know, like basic things that make life quite easy. If you see them in someone's house in Ghana, you're like, hey, you have money, you know, like. But here, it's like every home must have it, you know. And even if people can't pay upfront, there's always a way for people to pay in installments. So people are able to afford general things that make their lives comfortable. Like getting an iPhone in this country is like is nothing. All the children in this country use iPhones. Like, it's not a big deal. Like the way in Ghana, if you have an iPhone, everybody's like, Charlie, you know, you day form, you know. But the system works, so yeah, that's why it works for them. That's why they're able to afford it. I'm gonna end here today. Kindly subscribe now, please guys. Subscribe, share, like and comment. Till I see you again in my next video. Bye bye.